So, guys, welcome to this live stream today, and we all are going to understand something amazing in order to develop your language skills, your communication skills, and your public speaking skills. If it sounds good to you, type sounds good in the chat box. Type SG in the comment box there. This is what we all are going to understand today, right? So, I want your participation here itself for some time where you are going to understand something amazing, right? So in another 20 to 25 minutes, I'm going to give you something which is going to be completely different for all of you. Because today we are going to talk about how you are going to maintain consistency in your life. And that plays a major role when it comes to understanding all those things. And this is what I'm going to tell you today. Most of the students, they always ask me that, sir, how can I maintain consistency in order to improve my English, communication skills, and public speaking as well? Three of these things are important in order to develop yourself. And the most important thing is when you try to understand all those things at that time, what we are going to understand is it's mandatory that we need to develop certain things. And according to that, we can have clarity of lots of things in our life. Now, there is one more thing I will add here, and that is nothing but when you try to develop yourself at that time, what we do, we just try to understand certain things in our life that we should get instant results. But it depends on what kind of action that you are taking to improve your communication skill. Let's take an example. Whenever you try to understand certain things in your life at that time, what is your first experience when you try to learn something? As Robin Sharma says, change is hard at first, it's messy in the middle, and it is gorgeous at the end. Most of the time my students ask me, what do they do? What do they do? They simply ask me one question. Sir, I tried a couple of things. I also learned something from you, but somewhere I was not able to maintain consistency. Somewhere they feel that they are not able to get that kind of clarity in terms of improving themselves for the longer time. Now, for this particular thing, what I want you to understand is when you try to understand the mechanism of getting results in your real life, that really plays an important role. I hope it makes sense to you. Now, how do we do this particular thing? Now, let's try to understand some things in simpler way. Suppose you have bought a new laptop, or you have installed any specific application in your phone or any specific software in your laptop, whatever it may be. Whenever you try to understand that particular thing, you try to understand the things first. You understand the present situation. You just try to get clarity with the user interface that is provided. You just try to understand that, yes, this is the feature. Well, I can use this feature in numerous ways. And in the same kind of way, when you try to understand certain things in your life, when you try to develop a new skill at that time, you do the same kind of thing. How? Let me tell you one thing here. When you try to understand certain things in your life at that time, it is nothing but one of the new experience to your mind. It is one of the new experience that you are going through in your life when you try to learn those things, whenever you are in the learning phase of all those things. And when we do these particular things at that time, what exactly happens? We try to understand certain things in our life and we seek for results. Most of the time, people expect that if I take certain efforts right now, I should get results in my life immediately. Well, for certain things, you will get the results. But for certain things, what happens in your life? You feel that you are getting results. That was momentary thing for you whenever you got that particular thing. But whenever you try to develop the same thing for longer time, what happened exactly with you? Your memory started going away. You started feeling that I learned that concept couple of days ago. And now I'm trying to recall the same thing. Why is it happening with me? Whenever you try to learn something, according to psychologists, what they say, whenever you learn something, you will take at least 2 days to remember that particular thing. After 2 days, after 48 hours, you just start getting away from that particular thing. Your memories start fading. And when you just try to recall the same kind of concept, if you do not apply it, if you fail to implement that concept, what happens in your life? You try to just get away from that particular thing. And that's why we forget certain things in our life. That's how we develop certain memories. Now, when it comes to understanding a new concept, specifically when it comes to English at that time, you try to learn certain things in your life. And when you do that specific stuff at that time, the most essential thing is You keep improving every single day. But there is one thing that you need to understand when it comes to your language skills at that time. It's a specific mechanism that you need to train yourself, or you need to train your brain to understand that in each and every situation, I can learn something in a better way. This is the most important thing. Let it be in terms of pronunciation, let it be in terms of some grammatical topics, let it be in terms of constructing different sentences based on the same grammatical topics, and let it be in terms of using different words in your life. Most of the people, they complain in the live sessions that I conduct, they always tell me one thing. So I'm not able to understand few things and I'm still facing some of the issues in terms of using proper vocabulary. Well, it's not about so many words that you need to learn in your life. But the beautiful part is nothing but I want you to understand certain things here. And those things are nothing but it's not about applying, it's not about just learning so many words. If you just take one taste right now, if you just taste few things right now at this particular moment, just try to look at yourself. Just try to look around you and just try to look in front of whatever that you are watching this session now. You will be able to see that there are certain elements of your mobile phone, your tab, your computer, your laptop, right? There are a couple of things around you. If you just try to look at them, I'm pretty sure that whatever that you are looking at, your mind is telling everything in English only. Your mind is not using any specific word in your native language. Why does it happen? Whenever it happens at the time, it's your mentality, it's your mind which has understood that each and every one of you is using simple words in English only. You have been learning these words, you have been listening these words subconsciously. You observed certain people, you tried to listen certain people a couple of times, and because of that particular thing, your mind was learning those things automatically. And the same thing is happening with you in terms of different languages. So if you just go to a specific place and if you just try to understand that particular language, in the beginning it will be difficult for you. But the moment you try to understand the same kind of language at that time, what happens exactly? You try to adapt that particular language. This is the mechanism of your mind. So when it comes to understanding your language skills at that time, what we need to understand is we just need to focus on getting clarity of certain things in terms of constant improvement in our life. Now there are a few things, you can note them down and I'm going to throw some light on these things regarding your language skills. Then I will move on to understand something about the most important part, and that is nothing but your communication skills. And then I'll quickly share some things that you need to follow in terms of improving your public speaking skills. Sounds good? Now, let's try to understand. When it comes to your language skills at that time, we need to focus on certain things. I would say that we need to do some kind of SWOT analysis. What are the strengths that you believe in terms of your language skills? What are the weaknesses that you have? And what are the opportunities that you can just understand? And what are the threats in your life if you do not improve your language skills? Now let's talk about the first part. When it comes to your strengths at that time, when it comes to understanding your language skills at that time, the most important thing is you need to focus on getting clarity of certain things. Most of the people, they have wonderful voice. When they speak at that time, the pitch is good. When they just speak with different people at that time, they really speak to create the impact. But somewhere they do not have enough confidence. So when it comes to your strengths at that time, focus on understanding your voice quality. Focus on understanding the way you intonate the sentences. Focus on understanding your rate of speech, right? So you can just find it out. You can understand these things about you because you are the best person. I would suggest here, you are the best person to find out something about yourself, right? This is the most important thing. Second thing I would say here itself is that whenever it comes to your weaknesses at that time, most of the people, they try to find out their weaknesses apart from their strengths. When it comes to strengths and weaknesses at that time, people look at negative points more instead of just looking at positive side, right? If I just take a quick test, if I just draw a specific square, and if I just put that particular small dot inside that particular square, and if I show you that paper, right now also, at this particular moment also, your mind is focusing on that particular dot whenever you visualize that particular picture. Now, it's a common tendency of human mind It's a human behavior that we always go through. And when we do this particular thing at that time, what happens in our life? We try to understand these things in a couple of ways. So for you, if you do not find out your strengths, then it is not going to help you to nurture your language skills, right? After that particular thing, when it comes to psychological barrier at that time, some people keep comparing themselves with someone else. If you compare yourself with someone else, it means that you are simply underestimating yourself. And when you underestimate yourself at that time, what happens? You just try to neglect your confidence level. And when you do this particular thing at that time, you just focus on underestimating yourself and you keep comparing your English, your language skills with someone else who is at a superior level than you. I know that you agree to this thing. And with the same kind of mindset, I want to tell you a few things here that never compare yourself. It can be a specific psychological barrier with you. Second thing, always remember that you need to learn from a situation and mistakes happen in your life. We all are human beings. Remember this particular thing. Mistakes will happen. There is no gateway, or I would say there is no escape from making mistakes. If you say that I want to speak without making mistakes from the starting, right away, from day one, it is not going to be possible. If you want to maintain consistency, you will make mistakes and you will correct them as well. Because what I believe is that I want to make you independent. How? You should be in a position to understand what are the mistakes that you are making. You should be in a position to understand that, yes, I made a mistake here. I need to correct the same kind of thing. Because if you try to become perfect in your life in terms of your English and some other things, it is not going to happen. See, no one is perfect in the world. The most important thing is, if you're looking for someone who is perfect in English, who is perfect in all those things, it is not going to happen. Because these people do not exist at all. People make mistakes. So you will also make mistakes. So embrace those mistakes. Learn from your mistakes. And let me tell you a magical statement here. When it comes to understanding mistakes at that time, remember one thing here. And what is that particular thing? A mistake is a sign of trying. Whenever you do something, whenever you make certain mistakes, and when you just realize that particular mistake, you understand that, yes, I made a mistake here. Next time I'm going to work on this thing and I will try my best to avoid these particular mistakes. This is what you need to understand in terms of making yourself consistent. Most of the people, they have fear of making mistakes and they do not take decision at all. This is the most important thing. But today I'm going to share something amazing with you. Most of you have attended my 5-day bootcamp, but today I'm going to share something amazing at the ending of this particular stream, and I'm going to give you a wonderful surprise where you are going to understand how to train your mind to be consistent all the time. Right? So stay till the end. We are going to understand something amazing, and I'm also going to give shout out to those people who participated in Phonomania, and I'm going to give you clarity with the same kind of thing. This is what you are going to understand. Right? Now, first thing, in terms of improving your language skills, never compare yourself. The key outcome that you need to understand. Second thing, always remember that mistakes are the sign of trying. So whatever that you are trying is happening for good. And third is nothing but you always need to find out a situation where you can communicate with different people. Right? Most of the time, your mind gives priority to your native language. Instead of that, you need to focus on giving priority to English in your life. This is what the most important thing. Find out the situations, work on the same kind of thing, and make sure that you will speak English only. Create the sense of urgency. So this is all about understanding language skills. Now let's move on to understand something in terms of improving your communication skill. When you improve your communication skills at that time, there are multiple factors on which you need to work on. First, I would say, focus on your voice quality. Most of the people, they have low voice. If you just compare your way of communication, you can just try it today, even after this particular session. You can just understand this particular thing. When you speak with different people in your native language, how do you speak? You automatically have that confidence. You automatically have that smile. and you automatically have that loudness in your voice, which reflects that assertiveness when you speak in your native language. Am I right? Yes. But when it comes to understanding certain things in terms of English at that time, what happens with you? You always face certain things in your life, and those things are nothing but you face difficulties to make some sentences. Again, the same language barrier, again, the same psychological barrier that I will connect with, and you keep comparing yourself with someone else. You have fear of making some mistakes, and that's why your voice quality goes like this, your loudness goes like this, instead of maintaining at a suitable level. So make sure that you focus on your voice quality in terms of loudness. When you speak loudly with proper loudness, you reflect that confidence that yes, whatever you are sharing, whatever you are just conveying, you are telling what that particular message or that particular information, you are talking confidently with people. Remember this particular thing. Second thing, when you try to speak with people at that time, focus on your rate of speech. Now, what is the rate of speech? Most of the time, what people do, they try to develop certain things in their life, and because of that particular thing, they fail to maintain their rate of speech. You need to focus on your intonation as well. And when it comes to understanding the same kind of thing at that time, it's important that whenever you try to understand certain things, you get clarity in terms of improving your rate of speech. See, some people speak fast, some people speak very slow, but in between that, if you just understand the moderate rate of speech, people listen to you. People understand that yes, this is going in this proper way. And when you do this particular thing at that time, we get clarity in terms of improving the same thing. And this is what we need to follow every single time. So understand your rate of speech, focus on understanding certain things, and it will give you enough confidence that how you can control your thought process. Most of the people, they ask me, sir, when we try to speak at that time, we speak for 2 to 3 minutes, but what after that? Here you need to understand that when you just understand the proper flow of thoughts in your mind, you can automatically speak. So here I am telling you 3 things. Working on your language skills. I told you a couple of things in terms of your SWOT analysis, in terms of understanding your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities that you have, and the threats to lose your opportunities. This is what I explained you. I also explained you about some kind of language barriers, not to compare with people, right? Not to worry about different words in English, and not to worry about certain mistakes, right? After that particular thing, I told you that I'm going to tell you something important according to communication skills. And I also told you that whatever the activity that I conducted, and that was nothing but phonomania, I'm going to give shout out to those people who participated in the activity and they got that the first 5 people were there, right? This is what I told you. After that particular thing, I just told you certain things in terms of understanding your intonation pattern, your voice quality, your ROS, then the comparison between your native language and English. Now, whatever that I'm telling you here itself is that I structured this particular thing in my mind in step-by-step manner. And I'm connecting these things with multiple examples, whatever it is coming in my mind, that yes, this is relevant and I need to share this particular thing. Most of the people, when they try to share their ideas at that time, they forget certain things. They fail to remember those important points. And when you do this thing in real time at that time, you need to understand that how you are controlling your thought process, right? That flow of specific thoughts is very much important. That yes, I know these points, and according to those points, I'm going to share some information, right? I hope you are getting this in simple manner. Now, after this particular thing, when you start communicating with people at that time, you meet so many people in your life. Whenever you go to your workplace, whenever you work at your workplace, what happens exactly with you? It happens every time when you try to interact with your colleagues. This is the first important thing, right? Second thing that I'm going to go ahead with this particular thing. Yes, Arindam, I'm going to share that shout out. Don't worry about it, right? I'm going to give shout out to those people who participated in the phonomania and those who were the winners to just understand this thing, right? So I'm going to share this particular thing in a couple of minutes, right? So whenever we interact with different people at the time, let's say we have certain juniors or we may have certain seniors also. Most of the time what we do, you speak confidently when it comes to communicating with your juniors, because there you do not have any fear of making mistakes. But when the same thing comes to you, whenever you try to interact with your clients, with your seniors, or any other person, you feel hesitation. Why? Because you keep comparing that, well, if I make the mistake, am I going to make that bad impression or something like that? You keep doing this particular thing. The battle of different thoughts and all those things, those inner critics, they run in your mind. And because of this thing, you always try to give your best, but you could not. Now, the next part is nothing but public speaking. Now, the flow you need to understand here itself is that when you set certain parameters to improve your language skills at that time, when you work on certain grammatical topics, you just go ahead and understand few of these things. And those things are nothing but you improve yourself with certain things and you register the most useful sentences in your mind. And you also get clarity that whatever that I'm saying here is 100% correct. There is no doubt and there is no issue in terms of constructing that particular sentence. So your thoughts come automatically. When you try to intonate certain sentences, when you try to maintain that proper loudness with different people, you speak in front of different people in your life. Let's say you go to your workplace, you talk with your seniors, you talk with your juniors, you talk with your colleagues. And when you talk with them at that time, what actually you do? You just present your ideas confidently in front of them. And that is nothing but the way to speak in front of public, right? When you just go to any conference or whenever you give your presentation to multiple people at the time, that is also a part of public speaking in your life. Wherever you go, whenever you present yourself at that time, you automatically improve your ability to connect with people. And when you do this particular thing at that time, you start understanding your audience, right? If you just follow these things at that time, it is going to be the most important thing for you, where you are going to understand so many things in your life, right? Now, it's time to give shout out to those people who participated in the activity and they understood something amazing. And that amazing thing is nothing but, let me just get the names of the people and give shout out to them. So the first person who successfully completed this thing or who just found the solution, and that is nothing but Arindam. Then second one is Ilvarasi, third one is Anand, fourth one is Neha Kulkarni, and fifth one is Venkatesh. So guys, congratulations to you. And yes, whatever that you have, what belongs to you is nothing but is your name. And there is one thing that I'm going to tell you on the basis of this thing for all the people here. So a big shout out to all the people who just participated well and you found the exact answer, and that is nothing but your name, which is close to you, right? So make sure that I'm going to give you a pro tip here in terms of understanding something amazing. And that pro tip is nothing but always remember names of the people when you communicate with them. If you want to network well with people, remember to take names of the people when you communicate. For example, the moment I say Arindam, he feels amazing that yes, my name was taken, right? When I say Ilvarasi, it means that I'm connecting with the person exactly with that particular name. When I say Sneha, you have done a wonderful job, it means that she feels that yes, I am here to understand something. When I say Anand, you are doing really great, I'm so happy with your progress, it means that I'm connecting with that particular person with his name. Make sure that you take names of the people whenever it comes to understanding certain things. And when we do this thing at that time, it's the most important thing that you need to understand. Take names of the people instead of just saying certain pronouns, right? If I just say you are doing really a wonderful job, instead of that, if I say Anand, you are doing a wonderful job, Arindam, you have really improved a lot. If I say these kind of things at that time, you get clarity in terms of understanding all those things, right? Now, last few minutes are remaining. And before ending the stream, I want to give you something amazing here. And that is nothing but you can just check the description of this particular live stream on YouTube and you can get an amazing opportunity to get lifetime access to the exclusive videos that I have added in the 5-day course in our application, right? And not only that thing, you will get lifetime access to those videos also, as well as you are also going to get certification for that particular course. So today onwards, I'm going to enable certifications for all the people and you all are going to get certification for that 5-day English Grammar Mastery Bootcamp, right? So don't forget to check out that course in the description. And yes, you are just one step away to make yourself consistent. Now, I know that you all like the 5-day bootcamp, But what happened with most of the people, as they do not proceed, they feel that I'm not able to maintain consistency. And for that purpose, I want you to understand to maintain your consistency by following the sessions that I have given you, and I want to give you those sessions for lifetime. And along with that, you are also going to be appreciated with the certificate along with this particular course. So yes, this is something amazing that I wanted to announce today. Make sure that you visit the description and you go ahead with the same kind of thing. I hope it was a wonderful session for all of you guys today, and I will meet you in the next session, and it is going to be an amazing experience for all of you. So a big shout out to all the people, those who participated in the Phonomania, and I will see you once again. By that time, take care of yourself, take care of your family, keep learning, keep growing.